Loud. All right, I think we're recording. So we're here with Mr. Rick Selvarajah from the Premier Harrow Academy, formerly of the South Harrow Academy, and all over the show. So how's lockdown, Mr. Rick?
Lockdown's been a little bit weird. It's been a bit crazy. I'm happy that I get to spend a little bit extra time with my son, but like it feels like the world has stopped. So I just want to get back to a bit of normality, really.
Yeah, it's a weird process. I was chatting to the South Harrow guys earlier on, and we're saying, you know, while it's nice to be at home and around family, it's just an odd thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weird concept.
Yeah, it just feels like the world's on pause for a little bit, and we just need to get back. I'm so used to I love like the busyness and just keep moving. So being like not knowing what's coming tomorrow is a bit nuts, a bit crazy.
Yeah, that's weird. So what we're going to do on this one is we've got a lot to talk to you about, you know, running the online classes, the Harrow Academy itself, how you got to teaching. You're one of our most successful MMA fighters as well. You've got a couple of titles. You've been on BAMMA, which is one of the probably best shows in Europe. So we've got a lot to cover. New family man.
Yeah.
New house, new baby, everything, right? So there's lots.
Yeah, doing a lot.
Let's kind of go in order. Let's go. How did you get into training with us in the first place?
So I started training in 2009, so nearly 11 years now. It started with me, like my New Year's resolution was to lose weight. I was like, look, I need to lose weight, and I need to start 2 martial arts. That was my thing. I knew a little bit about MMA, but I wasn't sure. I planned to do like kickboxing and judo or something. 2 martial arts, and I need to lose weight. I was 105 kgs. So I started Googling places, me and my cousin Emlyn, found Premier in Eastcote, went to the trial, and hands down, I always tell him this as well when I see him at training, the main reason I joined that class was Gareth Miggle, because I was 105 kg, he was like, I think 65 or 66 kg, and we were sparring on my first lesson. He bent me up, he like armbarred me about 5 times. He made me tap. I didn't think I'd like, from watching the UFC a little bit, I was like, nah, these moves don't really work. The chokes and stuff don't work. And he humbled me massively, and I fell in love. From that day, I fell in love with it. And even now to this day, I'm so passionate about martial arts. I've trained ever since, become an instructor from it. So yeah, that's how the journey started.
I remember your first class, strangely enough. Hundreds of people, thousands of people come through the academy, and some I remember, some I don't. I remember your first class because there was a bunch of you guys turned up. I think there were you, Emlyn, and maybe 1 or 2 others, and another couple of guys from that you didn't know, but there was, on one day, there was about 5 or 6 new guys rocked in. And you all turned up like rude boys, and I thought, these guys are never going to stay. They're not going to do it. And I remember you all getting smashed up by the guys that were there. I thought, they're not coming back.
Yeah.
And here you guys are, right? Still 11 years later. Gareth's still training with us. You're still here, which is really cool. Yeah. So it all started from just wanting to lose weight.
Yeah, wanted to lose weight and learn like some martial arts as well. I've always liked martial arts as a kid, but I've never like took an interest enough or like just known where to go to get it. My parents were not into it. Being from an Asian family, they're all about studying, so martial arts wasn't an option for me.
Yeah. Now your mum's proper into it, right?
Yeah. She's been to UFC now as well. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a proper fan. It's really good to see. It's really good to see. So with regards to teaching, obviously you were good. You know, we used to train in my classes almost every day, actually twice a day, right? We were training a lot. And then getting into teaching, how did that evolve? I can remember. I remember asking you to teach a little bit, but I can't remember the evolution.
Yes, yeah, it was weird. So I was training for a few years, I think just over 2 and a bit years. And I think you asked me to help out a little class in Rooks Heath High School. It was like a real small class, like 5 people, just to help out a little bit.
Just in the school hall?
Yeah, in the school hall. Right about the same time, South Harrow was opening. So it's when South Harrow first opened.
Yeah. I remember what we did is, I think before South Harrow opened, we tried to teach in a little school hall prior to that, just to try and build some numbers before we went in.
Yeah. And then Yeah, the plan was, I think you asked me to teach like a couple of classes or help out in some classes and stuff. But literally, since I'd done like an instructor course before that, so I was like certified and trained and whatnot. But since day one, I just had total immersion. I like loved it. And then yeah, we started like joining people up on the first day. We signed up loads of people in the first week, first month.
Our academy.
And I was working at Tesco because I was at uni and I was working at Tesco part time back then. And then I was like, oh, like I was saying to my parents, like, look, I was training anyway. Instead of being at uni as much as I should have, I was training. I was working on the weekend. But then that started getting in the way of working at Premier. So I was like, look, I want to work at Premier. I think I'm ready to go full time. So I spoke to you and said, look, I want to do it full time. After literally, I think a month or two. And then you were like, yep, you were up for it. South Harrow was growing as well, so we needed the coaches. And then
South Harrow, we first opened, we signed up 100 people in the first month.
It was crazy busy. And then then handed in my notice at Tesco, which was something I've been waiting to do. And then I started training, and it just kind of progressed. I started like as like an assistant instructor, almost just helping with classes, and I learned like how to like just do a little bit more in terms of the admin, and then it just progressed from there upwards. And I've literally been working away at South Harrow from the bottom pretty much all the way up, and then I moved to Harrow like only just over a year ago.
Yeah, so with that you were juggling fighting.
Yeah.
You started on that sort of small amateur scene with a few guys, you know, like actually that Stuart that runs the Newton Abbott Academy, and a few of the guys that kind of started in the amateur ranks. You have to kind of juggle it with a job, but as soon as you hit those pro ranks, I mean, you went 7-0, 7 wins, no losses, and we thought it's time to go pro.
Yeah,
you have to juggle all that with work and fighting, because fighting pro in this country is not like it is in boxing. You don't get paid millions. It's pennies, really, right? So how do you manage juggling all that?
It was tough. It was tough juggling it. But the thing is, like, I found that it was like, it became and it still is. It's like a lifestyle for me. So it's like, I enjoy training. Like, some people will like, kind of find the training hard and enjoy the things that come along with fighting. So like, I'm the opposite. I love the grind and I love the hustle and just pushing myself to work hard. It's something that I think martial arts has taught me, because I definitely wasn't like that about anything before. And I think it found me and I found it together, because it's taught me to work differently. Like it's so much stuff. Martial arts is such a wicked benefit, and I truly believe in it, which is why I think over the years I've had the students that I've had and the success that the clubs that I've had, because I believe in what I'm teaching. So when I see a kid, don't want to name drop too many people, but there's a kid, Ethan Ajuma, he's a perfect example, a South Harrow student, South Harrow black belt, and Kush Fatania as well. They started together as dragons. Now Ethan, he was one of the naughtiest students that I've ever had to deal with. As a new coach, like, I never really had a student completely not listen to me. I prided myself on like having students with good discipline, but he was a dragon, and he was wild, crazy, and he was like that for 6 months. Like, just couldn't control him. He was pulling students' hair. We were like having to almost kick him out of class and threatened to kick him out of the academy, but it's like he didn't care. 3 years later, he's kept on training. He's got a bit better, a little bit better. 3 years later, he's like heading towards his black belt now. And he's literally the example of a good student. Like, he was respectful, courteous, like punctual, always asking questions, never ever speaking out of turn. And I use him for so many people as an example that martial arts can teach you like so much about yourself and change you. And that he was the first person that I saw the progress of years happen to. I've seen it through so many students since, but it's 100% the reason I do what I do. I truly believe the benefits that we can give people, it's mind blowing. And I love that about the job. And yeah, it is something that motivates me every day and makes the job, like, I'll never get bored of it. I can't see myself getting bored of it.
Yeah, it's martial arts is forever evolving. So that's one thing why we're always students. But I think as a teacher, as an instructor, there's so many different kids and adults and personalities and challenges. You know, the naughty one to the athletic one. You know, there's such opposite ends of the scale, and even to the, you know, the sporty one and the geeky one. You know, who would never naturally be good at sport, but all of a sudden martial arts. Okay, maybe they're not good at, I don't know, track, field, football, rugby, but actually martial arts, they can just excel. They can become powerful, strong, athletic. I mean, I'm an example of that. I was, you know, the geeky four-eyed kid that martial arts transformed my mindset, my body, everything.
I think, for the mind, like everyone knows that training, like you could go to the gym, you could do like whatever it is, whatever other exercise you can do. But martial arts specifically trains your mind, and it humbles you, and it makes you, like everyone sees themselves as like the big fish, and then you realize so quickly that you're not. There's always going to be someone better than you. But then you learn to accept that, and then realize that it's not about being the best. It's about different stuff. And for me, I'm learning. Even now, I'm still learning as I go. It really is about giving back, and like. This lockdown has showed me this massively as well, because I'm guilty of it as well. But connections between people and what you can spread just with positive stuff is massive. And I miss the connections now, but I didn't miss them before the lockdown. I used to think I was happy kind of doing what I'm doing, but it's taught me a lot about just how to connect with people and what that comes with. Like, what are the positives about connecting with people? How can I influence people to be happier in their lives, and how can they influence me? So that kind of stuff really does. I'm going to change a few things when this lockdown's over, 100% for sure.
Yeah, I think we were talking earlier with the South Harrow cruise. There is so much negativity over the lockdown that, look, people have got so much stuff to go through. You know, there's money worries, there's job worries, there's family issues. But you have to pay attention to those. But it's putting a positive spin on things that can be spun positive. So like we're saying, the connection and time with family and whatever you take from it. So try and bring something out of this.
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing. You have any bad situation, I think you have to do that. You know it's bad, but you've got to look for what you can bring good out of it and how you can use that bad to help you get better. I think if everyone does that, in a month, 2 months, whenever this is over, I think we're all going to come out happier. And we've been through some mad last like 2 months. So I think we're going to come out better from it.
I think with all our students that we're connecting with online, where I feel a better connection to them. Sometimes I feel a good connection to my students and to the parents, but I think I feel connected more to the parents than I've ever felt because of the feedback. Actually, we're teaching the kids, and you know, we give them their feedback. They give us the
100%. That's something that is like I've had to like be taken back by it, because with me, I'm quite busy with the students and I focus a lot of my time on the technique of the students. And in South Harrow, when we had a slightly smaller scale of growing the school up, it was different. I had a lot more time to give the parents, but this lockdown has taught me that the connection between the parents is super, super important. And for me, how rewarding it feels when I get a message, because I wasn't that for like people having my phone number and stuff. I was quite like a private person. But since the lockdown, I've called people from my mobile because I don't have the work phone to call. And I've been messaging, and they've been messaging me. And some of the feedback that I've been getting from parents about the classes and just how Premier as a group are handling things, it's been amazing. And it literally, it's like every day, and it's making me like realize, and it just helps with me knowing what we're doing, and just getting that recognition from parents is wicked for me. It's wicked. It's just, we love what we do. We're teaching martial arts, but the impact it has on everyone, we don't necessarily hear back from, but now we're hearing it back more. It's just reminding me of how powerful we can be as instructors.
And I feel like with that feedback, I want to do more.
What
else can I do? What else can we do? So we're trying to plan. You know, we have our weekly meetings. I'm sure everybody knows now that. We're like, what more can we do? Let's step up every week. I want something fresh, exciting. What more can we do? To make us better than last time? Which I think links us on quite nicely to your fights, because again, people say, you know, you're only as good as your last fight, or you're only good as your last knockout. I don't know whatever it is. which leads me to your fighting career. You know, you've tried to juggle that with working hard, and you've had a wicked MMA career. Actually, you've done kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. You kind of compete in everything that we throw at you, right? And what I've got queued up, if this will work now, is your last BAMMA fight. All right. So what we'll do for bodies that want to watch this, we'll try and watch it. I'll put it on mute, and Rick can kind of talk you through the fight. So if we bear with us, I'm going to go to a screen share, hopefully that you guys will be able to see. Here we go. So there he is, the man himself. Can you see that, Rick?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm a lot heavier now.
Me and you both. We were talking about that earlier. I think when the lockdown first happened, I was like out and active and circuits and kettlebells, and then I sat on my bum for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now back to it yesterday, and like kettlebell squats are killing my my glutes today. So this was your last BAMMA fight. BAMMA, for those that don't know, is probably one of the biggest, most successful and toughest MMA shows in Europe. And this is Rick's last fight in here. So what I'll do, Rick, is I'll play the intro.
Yeah, sweet.
And then after that, I'll mute it, and then we'll have a chat. Let's see how we go. So this is Rick right here. Once it starts.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is 3 5-minute rounds in the professional lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 155 pounds. He has a record of 7 wins with 2 losses, 0 draws. Fighting out of Harrow, England, Rick Selvarajah.
All right, so that's the beginning of the fight. What goes through your head while Buddy, our mate Buddy Johnson, is calling that announcement?
I'm just soaking it in. I'm soaking in the energy from the crowd, just my thoughts, trying to hone everything in and just prepare for like a few seconds time what's going to happen next.
Are you nervous?
I am nervous before I make the walkout. Like you would know, I'm super nervous the day of the fight, but literally as it gets closer to like half an hour before the fight, once I start getting warm, I feel fine. I feel like ready to do this. Like this is what I was supposed to do. And I just feel completely different. I feel like it's a man alive.
Yeah. So you, at the beginning of the fight, when he calls you, you do this wingspan thing.
Yeah. Signature.
What's the thoughts?
Same as Anderson Silva, so 77.5 inches. So for my weight class, it's super long. So I got quite a long reach. And yeah, for me, just opening up my arms and I just breathe everything in, and I just literally, everything hones in, and I'm like, I have to go now. That's the kind of thoughts I have as I do that.
Okay, so we've had this fight start. There's a couple of jabs exchanged, nothing too major. I think our mate, I can't remember his name now. What was his name?
Ollie Coyne.
That was it. Ollie Coyne went for a big overhand right, and you clinched him up. What's the purpose? Why clinching double underhooks as they are?
I knew the thing with all my fights is like, if you study my fights, you know that I move a lot. I move in and out lots. I move a circle, sideways and backwards, and counter strike. So like everyone, after like 2-3 fights onwards, used to shut that distance down. And this fight, I was practicing a lot of just clenching. Just if they're gonna do that, I have to make them pay. I can't just, what I'd do before is if they come in towards me, I'd move out and hit him. But then I'm like being chased effectively the whole fight. So I was like, look, I'm going to clinch. I'm going to strike in the clinch, and I'm going to take down if I need to stop them from doing that. And then that's how this fight pretty much played out.
Yeah. And he was a pretty accomplished striker in the back there anyway, right?
But he had a boxing background. He trained with another guy who was in his corner, who was a great boxer for MMA. And his gym, he was from Wolfslayer, so that gym was a well-known gym. But he had like a boxing background, and I knew that coming in that he's going to want to box more than anything. So it's playing tactics as well. I knew I'd have much bigger advantage on the ground. And I didn't want that distance as well to be closed by him all the time. So it looked like I'm kind of losing the fight, which has happened to me before. So I wanted to make sure I was prepared for that.
So I remember, I mean, I'm in your corner for your fights. I remember being in this corner, and when it's standing up, him being a little bit nervous because of knowing his striking background. But as soon as you clinch up, I take a sigh of relief. I always go, ooh, okay, he's too close really to, he may hit you, but it's nothing of substantial. I think there's me in the bottom left there. But yeah, once you get to this position, I know that his best assets have been taken away.
Yeah.
So talk us through this.
So I'm just doing the same technique. I still use the pull down. I pull forwards. Then when you step, I slide my knee behind you and take you backwards. So that right here, I'm pulling him and edging him forwards. He steps, and I go back and take him back. So I'm just like affecting the balance to get him down. I still use this takedown to this day.
Yeah. You've got both sides to take him down forwards, the step over, or the back, wherever.
Yeah. And then from here, I knew that he got up last time, so I was like, I got to capitalize. Here I'm hunting for a submission. I'm looking for my guillotine, which is like kind of one of my signatures. I love the guillotine here. Literally, if he rolled towards me now, I would have stepped over and attacked it. But he doesn't roll. He kind of tries to get half guard. So I'm trying, but it's not really. Then he gets up, and I switch for a DOS choke here. Can't get that. Switch to his back. Hooks in.
Went in lovely, that hook.
Yeah. When I'm here, I know that I'm going to end up in mount or stay here. It's very rare that you're going to get me off if I can take your back or mount you. And like, so he's rolled, he's giving me the mount, and I'm just going to strike him from this position. That's what's going through my head.
Hard for him to move. I think you got that strategic advantage where his back is against the fence. It's hard for him to wiggle free and get some space.
Yeah, I'm attacking a guillotine again here as well. But he's defending well. His guillotine defense is quite good. I was quite surprised because I got there again. I try it again.
Did he felt strong? Did he?
Yeah, he knew what he was doing, especially with the guillotine defense. He just kept. If you train jiu-jitsu or grappling, you'll know that if you keep your chin down, even that alone is a massive. If I can't get my arm under, it's hard for me to finish. And he just kept his chin super tight. He didn't use his arms much, but he kept his chin tight, which was tricky for me.
Yeah. You can see our mate Chris in the commentary booth there, standing up. Anytime Chris is standing up, he's getting excited. Here we go. There's the short choke. Boom. Fight's over. Now, before we go to that wicked celebration, which I love, let's go through this little end part again. So he makes the mistake. I mean, one of your most powerful weapons, your highest percentage is your choke, your short choke.
Especially if you turn from mount, which is what I'll do. I'll hit you to make you turn. People
can see that left arm has gone under his chin and joined with your right. So your arm was underneath his throat. I mean, this was primal. Hang on. I'm going to put the volume up for this little double.
Right, and Oli Coyne looking to buck and get free, but he's got to get careful because as he does that, he gives Ricky his back and he's tapped immediately. What a performance, what a comeback from Ricky Selvarajah, Chris. What a submission here for Rick Selvarajah. Looks onto the fans. Uproarious scenes here for the crowd from Harrow in England tonight. An exceptional performance, a great comeback here. I was going to say, put it into perspective, he got straight back in the saddle and a textbook performance from him.
Good work, right? So what's that? I mean, I wouldn't say that you're a super vocal. You're not silent, but I think you're the quiet assassin. But you're leading up to the fight, even you're very subdued, very quiet. You definitely change inside the cage, but once the fight is over, you're super animated. Where does that come from?
I think it's just the adrenaline. I think the adrenaline for this fight, because I had a couple of losses and stuff. It was just beating at me a little bit, and it's just because how much it means to me. It means the world. Like wins and losses they're so defining for me, and the emotion that I felt after this was probably the most out of any fight. Like I was just I can't even explain. I didn't mean to do it. It just came out of me like. It was a crazy feeling, like at the end of this fight. Weeks and weeks of hard work. Yeah, short choke, palm to palm. I teach my students that in that Friday session, like palm to palm and suck their forearm into the neck.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's super effective. And I think how you hide that second hand behind the shoulder so they can't pull it.
Yeah.
This is one of the best moments in fight ever, right?
In the blue corner, Rick Selvarajah.
Well. Good work.
Yeah, that was a wicked moment, that fight.
Yeah, and it's, I think, to win on that stage is something else. At the time, I think BAMMA was the place to be, right?
Yeah, outside of UFC in Europe, like Cage Warriors wasn't around then, which are doing massive things now, but it was BAMMA. I think, I mean, Bellator was even that big then. It was pretty much, BAMMA outside of the UFC.
I'm trying to get us back to a normal screen. Here we go. I think that's us back. Are we back?
Yeah.
We're back. Yeah, so yeah, it was one of the biggest shows in Europe, right? I think at the time, even bigger than Cage Warriors. It was Channel 5. Fantastic, right?
Yeah, it was a wicked moment. Fighting on that show was wicked for me. Wicked for just me knowing what a real professional big show, like arena show, is like.
Where was that fight?
That was at the Genting Arena, so Birmingham, and it was, I don't know how many people were there. I think it was like a 10,000 seat arena, but they sectioned some of it off. I think there was definitely over like 5,000 people there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I remember, and Dublin as well. You fought in Dublin?
Yeah, Dublin. Fought same thing in an arena. Fought twice for BAMMA in Birmingham, once in Dublin. So yeah, BAMMA, they were wicked. They're pretty much kind of where Cage Warriors are at now. Cage Warriors, the BAMMA have like folded and turned into Bellator Europe, and then
bigger than Cage Warriors is obviously huge now, but even with live crowd, they weren't as big as BAMMA was.
No.
Live, obviously the following is probably bigger now, but for live arena type.
Yeah. BAMMA always done really well with arenas.
Yeah. Wicked stuff. So we've covered you getting involved in martial arts, from losing a bit of weight to training hard, competing, fighting, winning, getting involved in teaching. So the next stage in your life is being a Mr. Family Man.
Yeah.
So obviously we were at your wedding a few years ago, and now I saw Amina's post that, you had a baby son 9 months ago. So I saw Amina's post 9 months in versus 9 months out.
Yeah.
So how's life 9 months on?
Crazy. It's definitely, you'd know because you're a dad yourself, but it's the most rewarding thing and challenging thing at the same time. My son is crazy. When I'm at home, he just doesn't leave me alone because he likes having me around. So I get some peace when he's asleep. But like waking up to him is the best feeling in the world. Just seeing his face, because he wakes me up every day. He literally he sleeps in his cot, and then my wife will bring him into the bed, and then he just pulls at my ear or my t-shirt, and he won't let me sleep. He starts hitting my face. So I get woken up by him pretty much every day. And it's wicked. It's been a crazy roller coaster. But he's getting at a wicked age now. After I think 6 months where he starts doing more, it's wicked for me as a dad. Like, it's just wicked to see. Yeah,
he's responsive, right? As a baby, you just want to hold them.
Yeah.
Now kids at this age is responsive.
Now he's doing all sorts. He's trying to walk and grab things, and he's eating with his hands, and he's wicked.
Nice. So the golden question is: are you teaching him martial arts now?
You know what? I shadow box with him, and he likes it. He starts like clapping and getting happy. He's done a few moves, but nothing major. But he will definitely do martial arts. He'll have to do some form of martial art. It can be anything. I'm not going to be pushy towards what it is, but he has to do something to be able to like defend himself. And I'm going to try and get him like heavily into sports and stuff like that. I like outdoor stuff, so hopefully if I do some stuff, he might take an interest, but he's going to have to do something, that's for sure, because I know the benefits it brings mentally as well as physically, so he's going to have to.
Yeah, I think that's the key. As martial artists ourselves, it's difficult for parents that feel that maybe martial arts is just another activity. It's just not the same as, I do piano, I do swimming, I do football, I do martial arts.
Yeah.
It's as important as school or anything else to me, because I guess you see it and I see it, the benefits that it's actually brought to us more than anything else in my life. And so many high level, not even instructors, but people that have just got to a level, maybe they've used it to be better in school or in their job or in their business. They just use those same kind of martial arts type attributes.
Yeah.
And I think as martial arts parents, we know the benefits it can bring. So unfortunately, kids have got to do it, right?
Yeah. So my son, until he's going to have to do it until he's 18, then he can kind of decide what he wants to do after that.
Yes, that's the thing. I've said it at 100 gradings. My dad was the same. When you're a black belt, you can decide. Get in the car.
Yeah. He'll have to do something. I don't know what, and I'll try loads of stuff, see what he likes. But yeah, like you said, the benefits of it, I know what they are. Like I have, like my nephew, for example, trains, and it's the same thing. Like sometimes his parents can see it as an activity, but I try and tell them all the time that it's not an activity. It's not like going to like whatever else it is, clubs, like tennis, whatever else. It's so life-changing on the person. It changes who you are and builds qualities that I don't think you can get from doing many other things. You can get them, I think, from certain competitive sports, but that competition and that learning to lose and getting better from a loss and just working hard when you want to be good at something, like failing a kick. Like I remember me, I couldn't do it like a turning kick. Like when I first started, my hips were all tight, and even being able to do that properly on a punch bag, because I had a punch bag in my old house, it was so rewarding. But I failed and failed and failed, and I kept trying, and it taught me hard work like that. So I think for anyone, even parents that start late, like Jeff, big shout out to Jeff, one of the students from South Harrow.
Right.
I'm always teasing him about his age.
When you say one of the students in Harrow, now one of the assistant instructors in South Harrow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He came in on his first day, and I took the class that like he was the trial, and I was looking after him and whatnot. And he was like, oh, I'm too old to start this. And I was like, you're not. And I don't want to reveal his age, but he's quite a bit older than me at the time, like more than double my age, I'll just say. But he's still training 10 years later, nearly 10 years now, he's still there. And he's become an instructor, and he's a wicked example of a martial art. So you can start kind of at any time. I don't think it's good to start when you're young, for sure. But like I started at 20. I don't think there's an age that you like up until you can stop.
You started I started when I was 7. You know, I had the benefit of my dad just backing me off to a class when I was 7. You know, and I've come through whatever I've been through. But you know, you start at 20 and you can reach the heights that you've reached just by knuckling down.
Yeah, perseverance,
working hard, listening to a coach, listening to your instructor, follow the guidance, and knuckle down.
Yeah, that's it for sure. I think you can start at any age. It depends on your personality, but very quickly, especially if you train with one of the Premier academies, very quickly you're going to know that hard work is going to beat your talent, any other external factors. Just work hard, show up, which you have to do, and then work hard, and you're just going to get better for sure.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Mr. Rick. So we want to just a quick insight on the team. So you pretty much are working through the Harrow Academy now with the assistant instructors and the helpers. We've got a lot of kids, adults, a lot of jiu-jitsu there. You know, there's a lot of changes and evolution that's happening in the Harrow Academy, but we appreciate your support. I know your students and the other academies the students appreciate your classes and your time and your efforts through this craziness.
Yeah.
So you get back to your evening and playing with Caden. Enjoy your night. Thanks, my man. Cheers.
Thanks, sir.
Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you. See you later, guys.